episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
We're here, but I want to say episode 1 of No Guru Ish. The feedback was great from our doula, Whitley.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of people were
Shout out to
informed.
Whitney.
Yes, a lot of people were informed about using a doula. People actually hit me up saying, you know what, Anthony, I think I'm going to go forward and use a doula
Mm-hmm.
for when that time comes. So I am like beyond inspired. I feel great.
Yeah.
Now I have the special lady to my right here, the one and only Yaneeke Calderon.
Don't say my government.
Sorry, it should be Edwards, but that's another topic. Anyway, I want to discuss how No Guru Ish
Came about.
came about.
Okay.
Thank you. Um, yes, we had our son,
Uh-huh.
and there was a journey before that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that journey. That journey is very personal to me and you as well, but
Yeah.
a lot of it,
Everything, with our life is pretty much private, but this, is very personal and, something that Anthony wants to share.
yes.
Because it can inspire the next person.
Yes, I talked to a friend by the name of June Archer. Shout out to June. I told him before I was even going to discuss this, like, hey man, what do you think? And he was like, it might take you to make other guys come out and talk about this. You could change the whole trajectory of this topic. So I was like, you know what? Fine. So the topic that I'm discussing today is male infertility. And, for my son to get here, I thought it would be simple, right? You have sex on ovulation day, you get pregnant, right?
Most people don't even know that part, but
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a little technical.
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, I didn't even know that, right?
Yeah.
But so let's talk about it, right? I would say like we really started trying, for a couple years. A couple years went by and nothing was happening.
Yeah.
So
we would, buy ovulation kits. They're very expensive, but we would go out, buy them every month. We're doing it every month, trying to track it on calendars, apps, everything. You name it, we was doing it.
right,
We were kicking up our health regimen. I even went vegan.
right. I lost like 10 pounds, man. My coworkers were saying I look crazy. She had me on a vegan diet, and I'm already pretty healthy as it is.
Yeah.
But the kale shakes was coming. The sea moss, remember sea moss was all of it.
Yeah.
So, and still nothing, right? So after a while, I'm looking at you. It's kind of sideways. I'm like,
in my head.
listen, I'm looking at this one sideways, like she ain't doing enough.
Yeah, literally.
She ain't doing enough because I'm the most healthiest guy that I know amongst my friends, minus my boy Justin. I'm the most healthiest dude. So I'm like, you know what? Yo, you gotta get checked, yo. You. And how did that process go for you? When you decided like. Because I ain't going to lie, I made it seem like it was you.
Right. I mean, I won't say I'm the most health fit person because I'm not. I hate working out, even though, I do recommend working out, but that's not my lifestyle. That's his lifestyle, you know. And I never really ate bad, so that was an issue. I don't have any major health concerns, nothing. I already had a prior child, my daughter's 14 years old. So yeah, I went to my OB/GYN, told her my issues. She asked how long we've been trying. She said, over the age of 30, if you try more than a year, then you need to look for other options. So she suggested that, your partner get a semen analysis. So that was our next steps.
Anyway, that wasn't a valid checkup to me. I don't know how they would check. So whatever. She came back and said, hey, look, I'm not the issue. Everything's fine with me.
Yep.
So she didn't necessarily blame me, which I felt like you did a little bit, but we kept trying, right? You came back, I said, well, it ain't me. So we kept trying.
I was just assuming we were missing the mark.
Right. We kept trying. Another year goes by. Nothing. Now I'm scratching my head and the pressure's on, right? Because let's be honest. Shoot, I'll be honest. My whole life, I, I wanted a child very badly. Um, it's like a dream of mine, especially with you, the woman that I love. And I'm scratching my head, and the thoughts are starting to come. What if I cannot have a child?
And not only that, you mean pressure from family, pressure from anyone that we meet, and they hear, oh, how long you guys have been together.
Oh,
It's
God.
just we get the questions rolling in. So obviously that's not like pressure, but it gets annoying after a while.
For sure. I mean, and listen, please stop asking people,
Yeah.
oh, when are you guys gonna have a baby?
Yeah.
Like, we've been together for this was like 8 years in. People like asking me that question. I'm like, let's just
First
have
off, it's like, okay, y'all not married. It's like people don't even think of that.
Right.
It's like, you're not those considerations, but
other than that, right? But we were engaged, and I'm still getting the question, and I'm like, let's just use some common sense here. You have a daughter already. It's not
Right.
like, and people that know me know I want kids. I talk about it openly.
Yeah.
So there might be something going on. Just for the record, just that question really bothers me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, because, getting pregnant is people think it's like an easy thing to do. It's not that easy. So, yes, the questions are non-sympathetic, non-empathetic.
Yeah, you just don't know what
It's
people are,
unnecessary.
right. You don't know what people are going through. And in this case, so, it's like, all right, you know what? I said, you know what? Fine. I finally got myself up. I didn't want to be ignorant to it anymore.
Yeah, and a lot of, not to cut you off,
No, that's fine.
but I think a lot of men in general, but let's specifically talk about in the Black community, they steer away from going to the doctor.
Absolutely.
Getting checked up,
I feel good, so I'm fine, right?
Exactly.
Can't be nothing wrong with me.
Or even like experiencing any type of pain, even anything,
Right.
It's taboo in the Black community, especially for males, to want to get checked up.
Right.
It's that fear.
Nah, you hitting on something. I didn't feel as masculine, you know what I mean? As me, I'm like the doc. Like for other things, I'm going to the doctor. Right? I go to the doctor yearly, but like for this, this kind of felt embarrassing.
Right.
So
because you feel like your sole purpose is to procreate.
Right. That's what I'm here for. So I get tested. I go to the semen, get the semen analysis, and I remember it like 3 days before the test, I'm drinking kale shakes. I'm working out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, these results are going to be, I'm going to shut her down. Like, we're just missing the ovulation date.
Yeah.
Nah. Those results came back, and I couldn't quite understand. They sent it in the mail, too. Like, I couldn't quite understand the paperwork.
They had a lot of numbers. They had a lot of terminology we weren't familiar with.
Right.
I gave it to my doctor. She she's like, I don't know how to read this to you. Same thing with his doctor. So, they referred us then to a fertility clinic.
Right. So then they called me, and they basically broke it down. They said, Anthony, I got something to tell you. 90% of your sperm is abnormal. So you have a good amount of sperm. It's not that you're not producing sperm.
Right.
It's 90% of them is abnormal, meaning that if any one of those abnormal sperms touches your
they
egg,
make it through.
Yeah, they make it through. It dies. It doesn't even. It just wouldn't work. And a 10% chance is very, very slim. So basically, they said, your chances of having a baby naturally is
pretty slim.
It's pretty slim to none. And I can remember sitting in that office, and the doctor rubbed my shoulders, man. He was like, yo, I'm sorry. He walked out. I went back. I went twice.
Yeah.
I didn't go once. I said, you know what?
Try to see if you can,
Let me. He said, yo, they refer me like these pills.
Right.
Remember, like
Yeah, yeah.
here,
So
take these pills.
holistic.
Holistic, yeah. Let's go the
Mhm.
holistic route. Took
Mhm.
these pills.
I can't remember quite.
I can't
what they
remember
were.
what it was, but I was
Yeah.
popping them like Skittles,
Mhm.
and and like, I'm like, yeah. When I go back, it's not gonna be 90%
Those pills
abnormal.
was expensive.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I forget the name of it. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
plug them because it ain't
Mhm.
work.
Right.
So yeah, I went back. I was ready to knock it out. I'm vegan now.
Mhm.
Um, same thing, yo. Same doctor. And he was like, Anthony, this is your fate, man. You gotta face it. This is your. This is what it is when it comes to you, man. And I called you, and I was crying. Shit, man, I'm getting teary-eyed right now. But I called you. I was crying, cause yo, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. My fear was if that was the case, I'm like, yo, I don't want to be with nobody.
Mhm.
I don't want to be with nobody. I felt like, yo, how am I gonna create a legacy? I'm out here busting my tail, investing. I mean, I'm seeing people having kids.
Mhm.
I was frustrated, man. I don't want to throw the word depressed. And we was talking to Whitley, and she was like, "Why didn't I seek therapy?" And I was like, "What is a therapist gonna do for me in this situation?" You feel me? Like, what could they do?
Right.
No one. They can't relate to me. No one never talked to me about this. I don't know who to talk to. I felt
Embarrassed. I
embarrassed.
think that was a big part of it, and not having someone to relate to. So it's not like any of his friends were experiencing it, or he not that he knew,
Right.
that they were experiencing the same thing. So it's hard to kind of reach out to people with something so personal.
Right. And you just like who? I ain't know where to start. I was crushed. This is
And
like
also, this, as he started off stating, this is something that you don't really hear about
Right.
as much for males. You hear about it for females. So for me, I mean, I had people that I can talk to, but he didn't necessarily have anyone he can talk to because, again, this issue, male infertility, is not something that is popular,
Right.
per se.
right. So, I finally, me and you kind of dealt with it, and so then our next step, they said,
We had our consultation.
we had a consultation with the doctor at UConn, right?
Dr. Smith.
Yes.
Shout out to Dr. Smith.
Dr. Smith, yeah.
Mhm.
So I told him, he's like, hey, talk to me. And I'm like, man, I don't want to be here if we can't have this baby, man. He's like, Anthony, look, man,
Y'all are young.
y'all young.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. He
always
kept
is
my
positive.
spirit up.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm like, so what we gonna do? Like, what was like? Okay,
What are our options?
what are our options? He's like, we went through the paperwork and he saw it like, oh shit, like 90%. He's like, yo, we gotta. There's only one option.
Yep. Because the journey when somebody's like infertile or infertility is what your diagnosis is, I guess. There's different options. IVF is not the only option, but in
Right.
our case, that was our only option,
Right.
and that's the most expensive option too. So
Yeah, the price, that's a whole nother situation, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even getting on that.
No.
He was like, yo, this shit, I didn't even get there yet. So he was like, yeah, IVF. And I'm like, okay, like, what's that? And he broke it down. And then, like, when I heard needles was involved, that's when I felt like crap because I know you have a phobia.
Yeah, it was something that we really, we took some time. It's not like, this is your only option. We doing it tomorrow. No, we took some months.
Absolutely, because we was like, yo, this can't be it. This cannot be the way because
Like, I'm not
you
doing
didn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So now, which I'm like, and also I'm like, yo, this is God has the final say. These are humans. They don't have the final say. Yeah, y'all can't tell us. I mean, they didn't say 0 chance.
Right.
So we kept trying. Time going by.
Yeah.
And we looking at each other like, yo, we might have to make a move onto this. But I
Because
want.
not only that, him, I'm getting older too. I'm still young, but I mean, we're not gonna be naive here. We
Right.
both are getting older, so we
Right.
had to make a decision.
And that also made me feel like crap because this whole time I thought it was you,
Mhm.
and really it was me. And I put you through some tough challenges that I'm beyond grateful, but that's way down the
Mhm.
line. So we finally
Mhm.
agreed to moving forward with IVF, and how, if you can remember, how was that like, that first experience? Because they broke down for us what we had to do and
Mhm.
stuff. And here's, before we even get into that, the price, right? Now, this is very important because there's a chance that IVF may not work.
Yeah, that's a yeah.
Like, it's a high chance when you're
Mhm.
our age,
Mhm.
but the older you get, the chances are it may not work.
Mhm.
And this thing is not cheap.
No.
When I saw the price tag on this, I immediately called my insurance. Like,
Yeah.
is this even possible? Because
Like, is this something that's covered? If it is, how many times is there a cap?
right,
Because
right,
if you try one cycle, if it doesn't work, you have to continue on. If your insurance allows it, unless you can pay out of pocket, which a lot of people cannot.
right.
And it's not just you know the procedure; it's also the medications as well. So it's two separate costs associated with the IVF.
Yeah, and through the blessings of God, I was covered.
Yeah.
I was covered, man. I don't even feel comfortable saying it. Like,
Yeah.
but I was.
Yeah, we won't touch upon that too much. I
Yeah.
mean, you guys can do your own research. You can look up your own insurance plans to see if it's a covered benefit. But
Nah, but it matters though because I saw people coming out there crying, having to
hmm
try again, and I'm just adding up the money.
it's a lot. It's a
So,
lot.
I know people talk about quitting their jobs and, oh, you don't, you could buy your own insurance and stuff like that. But in this case, yeah, quit your job if you want to. Quit your job if you want to.
And it's not like you walking around knowing if you're infertile or not.
Exactly.
So.
So that's a whole nother ball game. Mind you, I'm an entrepreneur on the side after I'm done working. I want to quit every day. But after that, I'm like, I am grateful for my job.
Yeah.
Straight up. So that happened and we moved forward, and I never really talked to you about this, but like explain, like, the experience for you, because I was there, but like I didn't have to inject those needles.
I mean, aside from the needle part, I think overall, I'm happy and blessed that it was successful. There were trials and tribulations during the process. I have a big fear of needles. I don't like needles. I don't like any kind of surgical procedures, nothing like that. So it was a lot. Daily, it was a lot. I mean, I would have to get blood work every day. Every day I had to go to the fertility clinic and get blood work. I was closely monitored all the time. And we were doing this during COVID peak COVID, when
Yeah.
COVID first was a thing. So Anthony couldn't accompany me in any appointments. I was there by myself. And this is not my regular doctor. This is clinic. This is a clinic. So I'm not familiar with these doctors. It was a lonely process. I didn't have anyone. I knew people who went through the process, but I didn't necessarily have anyone where, there were times where I'm in the bathroom and I'm not able to inject myself with the medicine.
And let's talk about that. Not to cut you off, because it's all about the timing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I can remember one time, like I was filming a wedding, like, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to inject this medicine at a certain time
Right.
every day,
Mm-hmm.
and like you couldn't. There wasn't enough get. This was a COVID wedding, so you couldn't come.
Right.
So you had to.
And
meet
I didn't have anyone that could do it for me. So.
Right, and some people could do it themselves, but your phobia, right?
Right.
It's so
I can do it.
right. And she had to meet me an hour away
Yeah.
just to take a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So all that stuff was, and then COVID, and the fear of it not working. I mean,
And there was even one time where I think it's called a trigger shot. I thought I injected it and it actually spilled out.
Yep.
It's a lot of anxiety and fear, toggled into this process that a lot of people don't talk about because it's that fear that it's not going to work. It's just a lot.
And I felt bad because here it is, like, you doing this for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sacrifice, man. And in my head, I was just like, God. I mean, I knew it. I was just praying to. The one time that I thought about questioning God was this moment. I was just like, God, why? And I immediately just was like, no. But I had those thoughts of like, why are we going through this?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess deep down inside, I believed it would all be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, we just had to keep at it,
we kept at it, and boom. So the next, they say the day of that they injected. Oh, remember how much eggs? And then like, so then okay, so they took my sperm, and then I can't remember. All of it is coming to me right now. And then you had a whole bunch of eggs, and then
right. Yeah. That's the part. I'm like, what?
Yeah, my bad.
Okay. I mean, that's the part of the process. Yes. There is a certain procedure where they have to extract my eggs. They already had his sperm,
right?
So they had to extract my eggs, and then obviously
put them together. They had the blast, and I saw the picture. I still got the picture.
Yes.
I remember they showed me it, and they was like, "This is the one we're going to use to put in."
Well, yes. So they had to make embryos.
Yes, I'm jumping.
I'm like, yes, you are.
I'm sorry.
Like, gosh. Okay. Like, my goodness.
I'm sorry.
Lordy.
But yeah, so I just want to get to the embryo. When I saw that, I said, "This is my son right here. This is him."
We had.
Oh, my
I'm not
daughter.
gonna say the amount because that's very personal.
It is. I'm just.
No, I know. I'm talking. Okay. What?
Go, man.
So, I mean, we had a certain amount of embryos, and they're graded. So ours, we had a lot that were graded like excellent. So the one that they chose.
Yeah, I when I saw it, it was like perfect. It was like they
showed us what is perfect. What how a perfect embryo would look. And how one that's not perfect would look.
And I saw this one, I was like, this is it. This is going to work. And then I remember the anxiety because they said, we're going to call you.
Yeah.
I remember, so they put the embryo inside, and then they said, how many days? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I remember. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I just remember the call. I was like nervous, but you got a voicemail.
Yeah.
And
they said they were going to call, and we said that we were going to just let it ring so that we could play it back, so we can have that memory.
Right.
Okay.
So we played it back. You got the voicemail. Well, you sent it to me. I was like at the barbershop or something. And you sent it to me. And I was like, I heard, you was like, yo, she played it for me. She was like, congratulations, you're pregnant. And yo, I can't tell you, that was the best phone call I ever got in my life. Because I always, not to cut you off, I always envisioned like, oh, you were going to show me like the plus sign, the strip. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, the strip. And, like how they doing them. I see all that stuff. And like, mine was a little different. Mine was a voice.
Our journey was a little bit different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I love it now.
I mean, during that time, let's rewind. Yes, we happy now because we have our son.
Yeah. It was
during
stressful.
That time, this guy could have used some therapy.
Yeah.
Definitely could have used some
therapy.
Because it's not like, okay, we got that call and it's like, bet.
Yeah, it wasn't like
that. It's you get more anxiety.
Yeah, I was on eggshells because now
you gotta keep it.
You gotta keep it. So now,
I mean, not keep it, but
it has to stay alive.
Survive.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I can remember just moments of us just.
And the IVF process wasn't done there. You're pregnant, but now you gotta take progesterone.
Yeah. See, and this is a lot on you.
Mm-hmm.
So
I thought I was done with needles. No, I was
nah,
done injecting myself with needles.
right.
Now he had to inject me with the needle.
And I didn't tell nobody this during the process because, like I said, I was embarrassed, man. I was embarrassed that it was my fault. Not that you're blaming me,
It's
but
not.
like
Yeah,
it's not a
it's
blame
not
game.
fault. It's just this is
Just
the
the
journey.
fate.
That's how I see
You
it.
know, I felt like you
Like
could have
journey.
did that with somebody else. You know, like damn, like I gotta go through all this just to have a baby. Why don't shoot? Lead this dude. He don't make enough money anyway. He ain't all that. But anyway, I'm sure those thoughts came in mind. Anyway, but no,
Not
the
gonna
anxiety.
say nothing.
Right,
Okay.
whatever. The anxiety was high, and then I remember months going by and like the ultrasound, and I saw.
Mind you, he kind of was like removed from the process because it was COVID. He couldn't come to any visit I had. He was not there.
Yeah, I was going through a lot, y'all. I had nobody to call. Nobody never. I had no male figure to talk to about it because most of the male figures that had kids didn't go through this. I felt like I said I felt embarrassed, and I'm finally talking about it right now because I feel like if there's somebody out there trying with their partner and years go by, I'm telling you, man, even if years don't go by and y'all want to try, I think you should probably go to the specialist.
And there's nothing wrong with doing that, even for females, anybody, any couple, because who knows when the right time it is, for them to like have children. So why not get yourself checked? I mean, there's women that are career driven. They're focused on their education.
Right.
You know, I did this when I was 30 years old, or 30 years old, 31 years old. And my eggs were taken at 31 years old. So the quality of them, they're young.
Yep. No, we good. It won't pick up.
Okay. So it's important to get yourself checked out. Because again, you use those eggs that are young. You can use them when you're 40. You're 30 years old. You can use your 30-year-old eggs, when you're 40. So regardless, it's important to get yourself checked.
And as a guy, I think even if I could do it over, in my 20s, I was just a part of my regular physical
like wellness. It's
wellness.
A part of wellness.
Yeah, I would see, but no one never brought this up to me as a man. So I'm gonna say it. In your 20s, go to the infertility specialist. You may pay a copay.
Fertility specialist.
Fertility. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, my bad. Fertility specialist. You may have to pay a copay.
Or go to your doctor and they will refer you to the fertility specialist.
But it's good to jump out on this because, like I said, time is ticking, and I was in there, man. I saw young people in there, and we looked at each other and we just like, yo, what we doing in here, man? But I don't know if there's something in the air. I don't know what's going on because my grandmother had kids in her 40s.
Yeah.
So
everybody's different. Everybody's
true.
Different. Everybody's journey is different. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. It is what it is. That's how I see it. I'm not here to blame anyone. I'm just the type of person where something is thrown at me, we just gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And roll with them punches, for real.
And that's what we did. And our son survived. And we had a doula during the birth. Whitley. So it all ties in.
Yeah. And you kind of see a little bit more of Anthony's journey and why this whole process inspired him to talk about it. Talk about not only this but other issues too.
Yeah.
Stuff that a lot of people are not discussing.
Right. And it's cool. What I would say is it's cool to feel like if you do feel like embarrassed, I understand. But don't let it stop you. That's what I would say. Because
and seek therapy if you need it.
Yeah, and I didn't. And I realized I needed it. For the little bit of time, like when Whitley came in, she was my therapist.
Yep.
She helped me.
Yep.
So, and I know to me this therapy thing, I feel like it's a fad. I'ma say it. I should tread lightly, but that's how I feel. So in a sense, that's why I didn't go. Like
Right.
therapy, like oh everybody talking about therapy. I ain't going to therapy.
Therapy, mental health.
Man, all of it, right?
Yeah.
You know, I just feel like people that feel like you could profit off something. You looking at me like I'm crazy right now. Man, what you saying? But
We
no, it's
support
real.
therapy.
I do, but what I'm saying is, I'm not gonna get too deep.
Yes.
All I'm saying is, I realized I didn't need it, and I had a form of it.
And this is just his personal.
That's just this is my perspective.
Right.
But my son was born, and this is how No Guru Ish was born. So this is episode 2, man. You know, featuring the crazy, the wild, but the one that sacrificed.
Yes.
I love you, and a lot more to come, man. It's your boy Anthony Wayne, and we out here.
We out.